Hey everybody, so let's chat. I want to make an opening statement before we get started. I know you see the title here. This is not about people pleasers, and this is not about people who are genuinely kind and full of love that get treated like doormats. That's not the type of kindness we're going to discuss today. This is about when your kindness is your toxic trait. If you survived an abusive relationship, this is for you. Whether the abuse was emotional, psychological, verbal, physical, financial, spiritual, leaving that relationship likely changed the way that you looked at people. It changed what you value. It changed what you pray for as far as the type of partner that you are looking for. After experiencing manipulation, betrayal, control, neglect, cruelty, many people make the same promise to themselves. And what is that? I just want someone who is kind. Right? Isn't that the famous saying after every bad relationship? I just want some kindness. That desire makes perfect sense. But when you spend so much time feeling unsafe, kindness can feel like the safest thing in the world. Then one day you meet someone, right, who truly seems kind. They're caring, they're thoughtful, they have a good heart. They don't resemble the person that hurts you. So naturally, you begin to believe you finally found what you've been looking for, what you've been praying for. Right? Some of you gave someone a chance who wasn't usually your physical type because you thought attraction would grow over time if they were kind enough. Maybe you intentionally chose someone completely different from anyone you had dated before because you didn't want to repeat the mistakes of your past. Maybe you overlooked the fact that you had very little in common because after everything you've been through, feeling safe seemed more important than compatibility. Or maybe you became so focused on how gentle, patient, and kind they were that you unintentionally overlooked the other qualities that make a relationship actually thrive. Now you find yourself carrying a different kind of guilt. You appreciate who they are, but you're realizing that kindness alone isn't creating the relationship your heart longs for. If that's where you are, I want you to know that you haven't failed. You learned something incredibly important. Finding someone who is kind is not the same as finding someone who is right for you. But what happens when you're still feeling unseen? What happens when something still feels like it's missing, even though this person isn't abusive? What happens when your relationship is peaceful, yet your heart still feels lonely? For many survivors, that's where the confusion begins. Some start wondering if they're expecting too much. Others begin blaming themselves, quietly convincing themselves they somehow failed again. I don't want you to see it that way. Not every relationship that ends is a failure. Some relationships reveal lessons that we simply couldn't have learned any other way. Sometimes healing isn't just about learning how to recognize unhealthy people. Sometimes it's about learning to recognize what a healthy relationship actually requires to prepare you for the real thing. So what we're going to discuss isn't about convincing you that kindness doesn't matter. It absolutely does. But there are truths about kindness, compatibility, emotional maturity, and healthy relationships that many of us were never taught. My hope is that by the end of this discussion, you'll walk away with a broader understanding of what it truly means to build a relationship that doesn't just feel safe, but allows both people to feel seen, heard, understood, and valued. So let's get into it. When kindness becomes a weapon. So kindness is one of the most important qualities a person can have, right? But it's also the most basic. Even though it has the power to comfort, encourage, heal, strengthen relationships, kindness itself alone is not the measure of a person's character. It is only a part of it. There is a form of unhealthy kindness that goes unnoticed because it hides behind good intentions. It is kindness that has become an identity instead of a practice. It is kindness that refuses accountability, expects recognition, that believes it cannot possibly be harmful because the person offering it believes that they have a good heart. This is not genuine kindness. It is kindness being used as a shield. Kindness is not the same as character. Many people build their entire identity around being the nice person. They believe their kindness is a defining characteristic of who they are. As a result, whenever someone points out something hurtful they have done, they don't hear the concern. Instead, they defend their identity that they made. Rather than asking, how did I hurt you? They immediately begin listing all the kind things that they have done for you. I've always been there for you. I did this for you. I did that for you. I helped you when no one else would, right? You've heard that before. I'm such a caring person. I'm full of God's love, Abba Father love. In that moment, the conversation is no longer about the person who was hurt. It becomes about protecting the image of being kind. Kindness becomes a defense instead of a bridge. Good intentions do not erase harm at all, not even 2% chance. One of the biggest misconceptions people have is believing that good intentions automatically cancel out harmful impact. They do not. You can genuinely mean well and still hurt someone. You can love someone deeply and still neglect their emotional needs. It's possible to do both. You can be generous and still be emotionally unavailable. You can be thoughtful in one area of life while consistently failing someone in another. Intent explains behavior. Impact determines whether healing is needed. A mature person understands the difference. Kindness is not immunity from feedback. One of the greatest signs of emotional maturity is the ability to receive feedback. And unfortunately, that doesn't come with age. People like to think it does. There's 50-year-olds with lack of accountability. And receiving feedback without making it about yourself, that's a whole different ballgame. People whose identity depends on being seen as kind often struggle with this. The moment someone says, "That hurt me," all they heard was, "You're a terrible person." That's all they heard. Instead of listening, now they become defensive. Instead of becoming curious, they become argumentative. Instead of seeking understanding, they seek acquittal. Their goal is no longer to understand the hurt. Their goal is to prove they are innocent. That isn't accountability. It is self-protection. Okay? When kindness becomes tone deaf, let's talk about that. Sometimes people are genuinely trying to help, but helpful without listening is harmful. Some people give what they would want instead of what the other person actually needs. It's not about what you want, it's about what the person needs. They comfort the way they like to be comforted, not the way you like to be comforted. They express love the way they naturally express it, not the way you need it expressed. They offer solutions no one asks for. They assume that because their intentions are loving, their actions must also be loving. But love without listening becomes self-centered. Real kindness asks questions and is interested in the other person. Real kindness adapts. Real kindness learns. People, instead of assuming everyone needs the same exact thing. Let's talk about the scorekeeper now. One of the clearest signs that kindness has become unhealthy is when someone begins keeping score. Every conversation about hurt becomes a list of everything they've ever done right, instead of what you're telling them they did wrong. Instead of saying, "Help me understand," they say, "After everything I've done for you." Kindness should never become currency. It should never become leverage. It should never become a receipt that is pulled out whenever accountability is requested. If kindness has conditions attached to it, it stops being kindness immediately. Kindness without partnership. Let's talk about that now. Relationships require far more than simply being nice. A person may be polite while refusing to share responsibilities of the household. They may be generous with compliments while leaving all the emotional labor to their partner. They may buy gifts but never learn their partner's love language. They may say they care while never making time to truly listen. They may be friendly but selfish. They may be gentle but unreliable. They may be thoughtful in public but emotionally absent in private. Kindness does not replace effort. Kindness does not replace communication. Kindness does not replace responsibility. Kindness does not replace emotional intimacy. Healthy relationships require all of them. All right, let's talk about the nice guy and the nice girl trap. Oh, what's that? Many people believe the world has treated them unfairly simply because they are nice, right? I did everything right. I'm such a good person. Good guys finish last. Nice girls always get hurt. But kindness is not a transaction. No one owes you love because you're kind. No one owes you a friendship. No one owes you a relationship because you're kind. The world owes you nothing. Kindness is not a bargaining chip. It is the minimum standard of human decency. The minimum, bare minimum. A healthy relationship is built on compatibility, mutual effort, trust, emotional safety, communication, accountability, sacrifice, growth, and service. Kindness is one piece of that foundation, not the entire foundation. Refusing to apologize is not kind. Another way kindness becomes distorted is when someone refuses to apologize because they believe they did nothing wrong. They convince themselves that because their intentions were good, there is nothing to apologize for. Where's the love in that? But apologies are not always admissions of malicious intent. Sometimes an apology simply acknowledges another person's pain. Humble yourself. That's kind. I didn't mean to hurt you, but I understand that I did. I can see why that affected you. I'm sorry my actions caused you pain. That is not weakness. That is empathy. Refusing to apologize because you cannot see your own mistake is not kindness. It is pride. Pride is a spirit. Leviathan. Real kindness values the relationship more than being right. That's love. Kindness without growth. Let's talk about it. Some people proudly describe themselves the same way they did 20 years ago. I'm a nice person, but who are you beyond that? Have you become more patient, more emotionally available, more accountable, a better listener, more self-aware, more willing to admit when you're wrong? So you mean to tell me that you've just been aging and not growing? You've only just been kind since you were in middle school? Growth is evidence of humility. If you are the same emotionally at 40 that you were in high school, kindness alone is not enough. Real kindness continues to mature and learn. What genuine kindness looks like. Let's talk about that now. Truly kind people do not believe they are incapable of hurting others. That's a little narcissistic there, huh? They understand that being human means they will sometimes miss things, they will sometimes fail, they will sometimes misunderstand. And when they do, they listen. They apologize, they acknowledge, they repair or make attempts to repair. They grow from that experience. They understand that hearing "you hurt me" is not an attack on their character. It is an opportunity to strengthen it. Kindness should make someone easier to correct, not impossible to correct. And you should also not be a one-trick pony. You should be a multifaceted human being. Kindness should not be your only trick. That's boring. We're meant to have layers to us, good and bad layers. Because kindness is not proven by how often you help people. It is proven by what you do when someone tells you that despite your good intentions, you have hurt them. That is where genuine kindness begins. So I hope that anyone watching this can really take from it. I hope this really helps someone to kind of see a different perspective. If you got something from this, go ahead and leave a comment and say got it. Stay tuned next time for part 2. We're going to take the conversation even deeper. We'll explore real life relationship examples, family dynamics, friendships, workplace situations, and the psychology behind these behaviors.